I thought I was healing. I was reading all the right books. I had cut ties with the past. I was journaling, meditating, going on long walks, and trying to stay away from anyone who could trigger me. I told myself I was doing the work. But one night, I broke. A simple conversation, a photo, a memory. And suddenly, the pain I thought I had buried came rushing back like a wave I couldn't hold off. That's when it hit me. I wasn't healing. I was avoiding. And maybe, so are you. Maybe your healing is actually just emotional survival. Maybe you're not healing because deep down, your nervous system is still waiting for the next hit. You're still looking back, still holding on, still trying to understand them, fix them, or even silently prove your worth to someone who's already gone. Healing isn't always pretty. It's not always spiritual baths and morning routines and perfect boundaries. Sometimes it's raw and messy. It's admitting the truth you've been running from. That part you still wants the person who broke you to fix you. If you've been trying to heal, but nothing seems to shift, this video is going to show you why. Not in a judgmental way, but with honesty, love, and a mirror that you might need right now. Watch this video until the end. And here's a quick tip. If you like and comment, YouTube will start showing you more content like this, tailored to your journey. Let's talk about the silent reasons why you're stuck. Not because you're broken, but because the way we've been taught to heal misses the point. Your body remembers things your mind tries to forget. You can delete the photos, block their number, move on with your life. But deep in your nervous system, the wounds are still active, still pulsing, still shaping how you see love, trust, and yourself. This is survival mode. And the hardest part, you can function in it. You can smile, work, take care of others, and even believe you've healed. But underneath, your system is hypervigilant. You flinch when people get too close. You overthink every text. You analyze silence like it's an emergency. You're not living. You're scanning for danger. You're not choosing love. You're managing threat. And here's what no one tells you. Healing isn't possible in survival mode. Because your body is still convinced it's not safe to relax. Not safe to feel. Not safe to let love in. Let's talk about what survival mode actually looks like in real life. It looks like being drawn to emotionally unavailable people. Because their inconsistency matches your nervous system's state of unpredictability. It looks like pushing away anyone who's stable, kind, and present, because calm feels unsafe. It looks like overfunctioning in relationships, trying to earn love with performance and perfection. It looks like shutting down the moment someone disappoints you, because your body is primed for abandonment, so it leaves first. And all the while you're thinking, I'm healing. I've moved on. I'm not crying over them anymore. But not crying doesn't mean you've healed. It might mean you've numbed. Think about it. If you were hurt in a chaotic, unpredictable relationship, your nervous system might still be wired for chaos, which means anything stable feels boring. Anything safe feels suspicious. You say you want peace, but the moment someone offers it, you don't trust it. This is the trauma loop, not the dramatic kind that makes headlines, but the quiet kind that lives in your day-to-day decisions. Who you text, who you date, how you respond to love, and how quickly you abandon yourself just to feel good enough. And here's the kicker. You can be doing everything right on the outside, therapy, journaling, meditation, and still be stuck. Because healing isn't just about what you do. It's about what your body believes is safe. If your body still believes that love equals pain, it will protect you from love. It will sabotage connection. It will reject healthy dynamics because they don't feel familiar. So how do you shift this? You begin by noticing. Noticing when your chest tightens, when your breathing changes, when you start defending yourself, even though no one is attacking you. You start asking, is this moment actually unsafe? Or does it just remind me of when I wasn't safe? That's where healing begins. Not with perfection, but with presence. Not with another book or course, but with small, daily acts of self-reconnection. When you slow down long enough to feel your body, to be in it, not escape it, something changes. You stop reacting. You start responding. You soften. That softness is not weakness. It's the beginning of safety. And only when safety is restored can healing truly begin. Are you tired of attracting the wrong people and ending up in frustrating relationships? The truth is, the love you receive reflects the energy you radiate. If you want to build deeper, healthier, and more abundant connections, you need to shift your energy. In my ebook, The Law of Attraction in Relationships, I'll show you how to transform your energy and attract the kind of love you truly deserve. Stop repeating the same mistakes. Start your transformation now. Click the link pinned in the first comment and dive in. There's a kind of quiet that feels like peace, but it's actually just shut down. You're not crying anymore. You're not thinking about them 24/7. You've stopped checking their social media, and you tell yourself, I'm finally over it. But are you? Or did your heart just go numb? Emotional numbness is sneaky. It masquerades as strength. It looks like indifference. It feels like control. But underneath, there's often a frozen pain that never got the chance to be heard, held, or healed. You're not feeling better. You're just feeling less. And that's not the same. This kind of healing is built on suppression, not integration. It's what happens when you're tired of hurting. So you shut down completely. You stop hoping. Stop trusting. Stop dreaming. Because feeling anything is too risky. The world praises this version of you. You're so strong. I'm proud of how far you've come. And part of you believes it. But deep down, there's this dull ache, a sense that something's missing. You're alive, but not really living. And here's how you know it's numbness, not peace. You feel disconnected from joy. You're emotionally flat, even when good things happen. You don't cry anymore, not even when something hurts. You struggle to feel deep excitement, love, or even desire. You avoid deep conversations or anything that might stir emotions. You might think you're calm, but you're actually disconnected. That subtle distance between you and your feelings is a wall. And it's not just keeping pain out, it's keeping life out. This is a trauma response, not the dramatic kind that screams, but the silent kind that slowly erases your emotional range, just to keep you safe. When you've been through enough pain, your body learns less emotion equals less danger. So it numbs everything, not just the bad. And that's the real cost. You can't selectively numb pain without also numbing joy, connection, intimacy, and love. You stop trusting your own instincts. You don't even know if you like someone, or if you're just afraid of being alone. You can't tell if you're content or just emotionally exhausted. You go through the motions, but nothing really touches you. And the longer you stay numb, the more it feels normal. You start saying things like, I just don't feel anything anymore. Maybe I'm not meant for love. I'm fine on my own. I don't need anyone. It is what it is. These aren't signs of peace. They're signs of a heart that stopped believing it could safely feel. And here's the thing. Numbness doesn't mean you're broken. It means you survived. It means your system protected you the only way it knew how. But now it's time to thaw, to feel again. Not all at once. Not recklessly, but gently, intentionally. Start with small moments. Let yourself tear up at a movie. Notice the tightness in your chest when someone brings up their name. Admit that you do still miss them, and let that be okay. Let a friend's hug last a little longer. Let your breath go deeper. You don't have to stay stuck in the freeze. True healing is not the absence of emotion. It's the presence of emotion without fear. It's allowing yourself to feel grief, rage, sadness, and knowing you won't be swallowed by it. It's crying when something breaks your heart. It's laughing from your gut when something delights you. It's saying, I miss them without shame. It's letting your heart soften again, even after everything. Numbness is a temporary shield. Peace is a permanent home. But you can't reach peace if you're still hiding behind that shield. So ask yourself, honestly, have I truly healed? Or have I just gotten really good at pretending I don't feel? Because feeling again, fully, vulnerably, wildly, that's where healing starts to live again inside you. Closure is a beautiful idea. A final conversation. The apology you deserve. The truth about why they left. The explanation that makes it all make sense. We think, if they just told me why, if I could just get that one conversation, if they finally saw how much they hurt me, then I could move on. Then I'd finally feel free. But here's the truth. The person who hurt you is not the one who will heal you. Because the version of them that caused the damage is incapable of offering real closure. And yet, we wait. We wait for that message. We rehearse what we'd say if we saw them again. We fantasize about them regretting everything and coming back with clarity. We replay the past, hoping to rewrite it in our minds. This keeps the pain alive. This keeps you tethered. Not because you still want them, but because a part of you still wants to feel understood. And that part of you, the one that feels unseen, rejected, abandoned, deserves attention. But not from them, from you. Here's the thing. Closure is not something they give you. It's something you give yourself when you stop needing them to explain what they didn't have the emotional maturity to understand in the first place. Sometimes they disappeared without a word. Sometimes they blamed you. Sometimes they twisted the story so badly that you started to doubt your own reality. And you keep thinking, if I could just talk to them again, they'd finally get it. But the truth is they won't. Because if they could validate your pain, they wouldn't have caused it in the first place. You're asking someone who failed to show up for your heart to now show up for your healing. And that's a setup for more disappointment. So what does real closure look like? It looks like saying, I'll never get the answers I wanted, but I still get to heal anyway. It looks like letting go of needing to be understood and choosing to understand yourself instead. It looks like deleting the draft you'll never send and writing a letter to yourself instead. It looks like crying, not because they apologized, but because you finally forgave the version of you who kept waiting. Closure is not a moment. It's a decision. It's the moment you stop needing the past to cooperate with your healing. It's when you take your power back from the hands that dropped it, and you say, this ends with me. You don't need one more conversation. You need one deep decision. A decision to stop giving your peace away to someone who couldn't protect it. A decision to stop letting them live rent-free in your mind. A decision to build something beautiful from the pieces they left behind. It hurts. Yes. It's unfair. Yes. But waiting for them to make it right only keeps you from making yourself whole. You've suffered long enough. You've replayed the story enough. You've given enough time, energy, tears. Now it's time to come back to you. The healing doesn't start when they come back with answers. It starts when you finally stop asking the question. Are you tired of attracting the wrong people and ending up in frustrating relationships? The truth is, the love you receive reflects the energy you radiate. If you want to build deeper, healthier, and more abundant connections, you need to shift your energy. In my ebook, The Law of Attraction and Relationships, I'll show you how to transform your energy and attract the kind of love you truly deserve. Stop repeating the same mistakes. Start your transformation now. Click the link pinned in the first comment and dive in. There's a moment in your healing journey when you realize you're not just remembering the pain. You're holding on to it, wearing it like armor, telling it like a story that defines you. And not because you want to suffer, but because it became familiar, safe, predictable. We don't just carry pain. We organize our identity around it. You start saying things like, I always get abandoned. I attract emotionally unavailable people. I'm not the type who gets chosen. I've been through too much to ever trust again. And slowly, that becomes your truth. Not because it's objectively real, but because it's emotionally rehearsed. You've told the story so many times, it feels true. Even if you want to let it go, a part of you wonders, who am I without this story? Because the pain became a kind of emotional home. And every time life offers you a chance to leave it, to rewrite the narrative, part of you gets scared. Because healing means letting go of the identity you built around surviving. And that identity, it gave you a sense of power when you felt powerless. It gave you certainty when love was chaos. It gave you control when everything else felt unstable. But here's the hard truth. You can't build a new life if your foundation is made of pain. Your story matters, yes. Your wounds deserve compassion, absolutely. But there comes a moment when repeating the pain story becomes a way of avoiding your power. Because if it's always their fault, you don't have to change. If love never works out for you, you don't have to risk vulnerability again. If you're always the one who's hurt, you don't have to see where you may have abandoned yourself. This is not about blaming yourself. It's about freeing yourself. It's about realizing that the story of your pain is not the story of your future. It was a chapter, not the whole book. So how do you begin to shift? You start by becoming aware of the phrases you repeat, the ones you say to friends, the ones that play in your mind late at night, the ones that explain why you can't love again. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Is this really mine? Or did I inherit it from a heartbreak, a parent, a society that told me I wasn't enough? Then, write a new story. Not all at once. Not perfectly. But honestly. Instead of I always get left, try, I'm learning to choose people who stay. Instead of I never get chosen, try I'm choosing myself now. And that changes everything. Instead of no one has ever loved me right, try I'm finally learning what it means to love myself right. And I'll never accept less again. The story you feed becomes your reality. And if you keep feeding the pain, it will keep shaping your relationships, your choices, your energy. But if you start feeding your healing with new words, new boundaries, new beliefs, something shifts. You don't erase the past. You outgrow it. You stop needing the story to protect you. Because now, you protect yourself. You stop performing pain for connection. Because now, your peace becomes your presence. And you start becoming someone new. Not someone who never got hurt, but someone who no longer lets that hurt define what love means moving forward. This is the power of rewriting the story. It's not denial. It's liberation. I thought I was healing. I was reading all the right books. I had cut ties with the past. I was journaling, meditating, going on long walks, and trying to stay away from anyone who could trigger me. I told myself I was doing the work. But one night, I broke. A simple conversation, a photo, a memory. And suddenly, the pain I thought I had buried came rushing back like a wave I couldn't hold off. That's when it hit me. I wasn't healing. I was avoiding. And maybe, so are you. Maybe your healing is actually just emotional survival. Maybe you're not healing because deep down, your nervous system is still waiting for the next hit. You're still looking back, still holding on, still trying to understand them, fix them, or even silently prove your worth to someone who's already gone. Healing isn't always pretty. It's not always spiritual baths and morning routines and perfect boundaries. Sometimes it's raw and messy. It's admitting the truth you've been running from. That part you still wants the person who broke you to fix you. If you've been trying to heal, but nothing seems to shift, this video is going to show you why. Not in a judgmental way, but with honesty, love, and a mirror that you might need right now. Watch this video until the end. And here's a quick tip. If you like and comment, YouTube will start showing you more content like this, tailored to your journey. Let's talk about the silent reasons why you're stuck. Not because you're broken, but because the way we've been taught to heal misses the point. When everything fell apart, you became someone who could survive it. You got stronger, sharper, colder. You learned to expect disappointment, to read the room, to sense when love was slipping away before it even happened. You stopped asking, stopped needing, stopped trusting. And for a while, that version of you kept you safe. That version helped you get through nights you thought would break you. That version built walls so no one could get close enough to hurt you again. But here's the thing no one tells you. The version of you that survived isn't the same version that will thrive. Survival taught you how to protect yourself. Healing asks you to open up again. Survival taught you to keep your guard up. Healing invites you to soften. Survival made you hyper-independent. Healing reminds you that you're allowed to receive. But letting go of that survival identity, it feels terrifying. Because that version of you became familiar, predictable, safe. You start to think, if I let my guard down, I'll get hurt again. If I trust someone, they'll leave. If I stop being the strong one, everything will fall apart. So you hold on, not to the pain, but to the protector you became. But here's the truth. That protector is exhausted. She's tired of fighting, tired of pretending, tired of always being fine. And deep down, there's another version of you waiting. She's softer. She laughs more. She feels without overthinking. She receives love without fear. She rests. She trusts. She shines. But she can't come alive until you let the survivor rest. Letting go of your survival identity isn't betrayal. It's evolution. You don't need to prove your strength anymore. You don't need to keep rehearsing independence. You don't need to keep showing the world you're okay. You are okay. But you're allowed to want more than okay. You're allowed to want joy, connection, depth, ease, love that feels like home, not like a battlefield. So how do you begin to let go? You start by acknowledging that survival was never meant to be a lifestyle. It was a season, a sacred response. But seasons change. You start noticing when you're operating from fear instead of faith. When you're pushing people away before they get too close. When you're choosing chaos because peace feels unfamiliar. You ask yourself, who am I becoming? Do I like this version of me? Am I building from trauma or from truth? Then you get brave. You soften, even if it shakes. You ask for help, even if it stings your pride. You let love in, even if it terrifies you. Because you deserve more than a life built on defense. You deserve connection. You deserve ease. You deserve to feel safe in your softness. The world told you strength was about how much you could carry. But maybe true strength is knowing when to finally put it down. You've worn the armor long enough. You've proved you can survive. Now it's time to learn how to live. Let that version of you, the one who fought to get here, be honored. And then let her rest. Because what's coming next? It requires a different kind of strength. The kind that lets people in. The kind that trusts love again. The kind that dares to receive. You're not broken. You're becoming. And this version, she's not afraid to be fully alive. Healing isn't a destination. It's not a moment when everything is suddenly clear, peaceful, or perfect. It's a daily decision to show up for yourself, even when it's messy, quiet, or slow. And maybe the reason you felt stuck isn't because you're doing it wrong. Maybe it's because part of you is still hiding, still pretending to be fine, still performing strength instead of practicing softness. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not late. You're just learning to return to yourself. The self that existed before the heartbreak, before the coping, before the walls. And that return, it's not always graceful. Sometimes it looks like crying over something you thought you were done with. Sometimes it looks like setting a boundary that shakes your entire nervous system. Sometimes it looks like saying, I need help, after years of pretending you didn't. But every one of those moments is healing. Not because it looks good, but because it's real. You don't have to be the strongest version of you anymore. You just have to be the truest. And true sounds like this. I'm scared, but I'm showing up anyway. I'm tired of surviving. I want to live. I don't want to keep carrying this pain into every new chapter. You've carried enough. You've done enough. You've survived enough. Now it's time to choose something different. Let this video be your invitation to pause, to look at yourself gently, to ask, what do I still need to feel? And most importantly, what part of me is finally ready to be free? Because healing doesn't happen when you find all the answers. It happens when you stop hiding from the truth you already know. You're ready, not for the old version of love, but for the one that starts within. In the next video, we're going to talk about why you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people and how to finally break that pattern for good. So stay close. Your journey is just beginning.